The silver ship moved slowly through space toward the small blue planet. Inside the ship, Ambassador Kethver looked at the data screens with satisfaction. His crystal body caught the light from the screens and sent rainbow colors across the walls. This would be his 848th successful first contact mission. "The humans show great promise," said Dr. Vexenth, the mission's chief scientist. Her 6 arms moved gracefully as she pointed to different charts. "They have basic space travel. They cooperate well with each other. They seem peaceful most of the time." Kethver nodded, causing tiny chimes to ring from his crystal form. "Yes, I read the reports. They live on a garden world. Perfect temperature. Lots of water, good atmosphere. Very similar to most council worlds, they should fit in well with galactic society." The bridge crew worked quietly around them. Most were from different species, but all came from similar worlds. Gentle planets, with soft gravity, calm weather, and few dangers. The Galactic Council had learned long ago that such worlds produce the best citizens. Peaceful, reasonable, willing to work together. "Their technology is primitive but advancing quickly," continued Dr. Vexenth. "They only reached their own moon 50 of their years ago, but they show good problem-solving skills. They might reach council-level technology in a few hundred years with our help." "Have they shown any signs of aggression?" asked Kethver. This was always the most important question. Aggressive species were dangerous. The council had made that mistake before. "Some small conflicts in their past," Dr. Vexenth admitted. "But nothing major. They seem to have moved beyond that phase. Most of their recent efforts focus on exploration and science." "Very encouraging." The ship's captain, a tall being with blue skin and large eyes, approached them. "Ambassador, we are receiving a response to our greeting message. The humans agree to meet with us. They are sending representatives to a space station they built." Kethver felt pleased. This was going exactly as planned. The humans were being reasonable and cautious, just as they should be. "Excellent. How many representatives?" "5 of them, sir. They call themselves diplomats and scientists. They seem very excited to meet us." "Of course they are," said Kethver. "First contact with galactic civilization is always exciting for primitive species. We shall give them a proper welcome." 3 days later, the human ship arrived at the meeting point. It was small and crude compared to council vessels, but it worked. Kethver watched through the observation deck as the humans prepared to board their ship. The council had chosen to meet on their own vessel for safety and to show the humans' superior technology. "They look strange," observed Dr. Vexenth, watching the humans through the airlock cameras. "Very dense bodies, thick bones, heavy muscle structure. Why would they evolve that way on such a peaceful world?" Kethver studied the humans with interest. They were indeed unusual. Most intelligent species were light and graceful, adapted for thinking rather than physical work. These humans looked almost like they were built for manual labor. Perhaps their world required more physical development. Some garden worlds have challenging terrain. The first human through the airlock was a female with dark hair and kind eyes. She moved with confidence but seemed careful not to make sudden movements. Smart, thought Kethver. She understood this was a delicate situation. "Greetings," she said, holding up one hand in what their research indicated was a peaceful gesture. "I am Dr. Sarah Chun, representing the United Earth Government. We are honored to meet you." Kethver stepped forward, his crystal body ringing softly with each step. "Welcome aboard the Serenity's Edge, Dr. Chun. I am Ambassador Kethver of the Galactic Council. We are pleased to finally make contact with humanity." The other humans came through the airlock. A large male with short gray hair and many decorations on his clothing caught Kethver's attention. The human's eyes moved constantly, examining everything around him. His posture suggested military training. "This is General Marcus Webb, Doctor," Chun said, noticing Kethver's interest. "He represents our security concerns. These are Dr. James Rodriguez, our chief scientist, Dr. Lisa Park, our linguist, and Ambassador Robert Kim, our senior diplomat." Kethver noticed how the humans moved. They seemed to control their bodies very precisely, as if they were much stronger than they appeared. Interesting, but not concerning. Many species had unusual physical traits. "Please follow me to the conference room," Kethver said. "We have prepared a welcome presentation about the Galactic Council and our member species." As they walked through the ship's corridors, the humans looked at everything with obvious curiosity. They asked polite questions about the technology and design. They seemed impressed by the smooth gravity control and the clean energy systems. "Your ship is beautiful," Dr. Chun said. "How long did it take to build?" "Only 2 years," replied Dr. Vexenth proudly. "Our shipyards are very efficient. We can build dozens of vessels like this each year." General Webb looked surprised. "Only 2 years? This ship must be half a mile long." "How many people worked on it?" "About 300 technicians," said Dr. Vexenth. "Why do you ask?" "Just curious about your construction methods," Webb replied. But Kethver noticed the human's expression suggested he was calculating something, probably comparing it to human building techniques. The conference room was large and comfortable, with soft lighting and gentle gravity. The council team had prepared everything to make the humans feel welcome. Cushioned seats, pleasant temperature, and a variety of foods from different council worlds. "Please sit and make yourselves comfortable," Kethver said. "We have much to discuss." The humans sat carefully in the provided chairs. Kethver noticed they seemed to test the furniture first, as if checking whether it would hold their weight. Strange behavior for beings from a low-gravity garden world. "Before we begin formal discussions," Dr. Chun said, "we want to thank you for this opportunity. Humanity has dreamed of meeting other intelligent life for centuries. This is a historic moment for our species." "And for us as well," Kethver replied warmly. "The Council always celebrates when we discover a new species ready to join galactic civilization. You will find we are a peaceful community dedicated to knowledge, trade, and mutual prosperity." Dr. Rodriguez leaned forward with interest. "How many species belong to the Council?" "Currently, we have representatives from 412 different worlds," said Dr. Vexenth. "Each brings unique knowledge and culture to our community. Most join within a few decades of first contact. What are the requirements for membership?" asked Ambassador Kim. Kethver was pleased by the question. It showed the humans were thinking seriously about joining. "The basic requirements are simple. A species must have achieved space travel, demonstrated peaceful intentions, and shown the ability to cooperate with other species. Humanity appears to meet all these criteria. What about worlds that are difficult to live on?" General Webb asked. "Do you have members from harsh environments?" Dr. Vexenth looked puzzled. "We have species from various garden worlds, of course. Some prefer different temperatures or atmospheric mixes. But all council worlds are fundamentally similar. Gentle gravity, stable weather, abundant resources. Harsh worlds rarely develop intelligent life." The humans exchanged glances that Kethver could not interpret. Dr. Chun smiled. "We look forward to learning more about your worlds. Earth might be different from what you're used to, but we're very adaptable." "I'm sure Earth is lovely," Kethver said politely. "All garden worlds have their unique beauty. Now, shall we begin with an overview of council history and structure?" As the formal presentations began, Kethver felt confident this first contact would proceed smoothly. The humans seemed intelligent, curious, and peaceful. Perfect candidates for council membership. He had no idea that his assumptions about their garden world were about to be completely shattered. The presentation about the Galactic Council went well. The humans listened carefully and asked good questions. Kethver felt pleased with their progress. These beings would make excellent council members. "Now," said Dr. Chun, "we would love to learn more about your homeworlds. What are they like?" Dr. Vexenth activated a holographic display showing a beautiful planet with purple skies and silver oceans. "This is my homeworld, Zenthara Prime. As you can see, it has very gentle conditions. The gravity is only 30% of galactic standard. The weather is always mild. No dangerous storms or temperature changes." The humans looked at the display with interest. "It's beautiful," said Dr. Park. What's the gravity like compared to Earth? Well, we don't have exact measurements for your world yet, Dr. Vexenth replied. But since Earth is clearly a garden world like ours, I assume it's similar. Most garden worlds have gentle gravity to allow proper development of intelligent life. General Webb shifted in his chair, which creaked slightly under his weight. What do you consider gentle gravity? Standard galactic gravity is what we use for reference, explained Dr. Vexenth. It's the average gravity found on all council worlds, very comfortable for most species. About 3 times lighter than what we measure here on your ship. The humans looked at each other again. Dr. Rodriguez spoke carefully. Could you tell us what you consider standard atmospheric composition? Kethfer was happy to answer. Nitrogen and noble gases, primarily. Most council species breathe nitrogen-based atmospheres. We do have some oxygen-breathing species, but they require special equipment on most worlds. Oxygen is quite reactive and dangerous in large quantities. Dr. Chun nodded slowly. What percentage of oxygen do you consider dangerous? Anything above 5% becomes toxic to most species over time, said Dr. Vexenth. Above 10% it becomes immediately harmful. We're actually impressed that your species evolved at all with oxygen in your atmosphere. Most garden worlds eliminate dangerous gases like that during their early development. The room grew quiet. Kethfer noticed the humans seemed to be thinking very hard about something. Finally, Dr. Chun spoke. I think there may be some misunderstanding about Earth's conditions, she said carefully. Perhaps we should share some basic information about our homeworld. Of course, Kethfer said warmly. We would love to learn about your beautiful garden world. Dr. Rodriguez activated a small device that projected Earth's image into the room. This is Earth. As you can see, it's mostly covered in water. The atmosphere is 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen. The silence that followed was deafening. Dr. Vexenth's 6 arms froze in mid-motion. Several council crew members made shocked sounds in their native languages. 21% oxygen? Dr. Vexenth whispered. That's impossible. No intelligent life could survive in such a corrosive environment. Well, we do seem to be surviving, General Webb said with what the humans called a smile. Been breathing it our whole lives? Kethfer felt his crystal structure vibrating with stress, but that level of oxygen would burn through most organic tissues. How do you not catch fire? We evolved with it, Dr. Chun explained patiently. Our bodies are adapted to high oxygen environments. We actually need it to live. What about the gravity? Asked Dr. Vexenth in a shaky voice. Earth's gravity is what we consider normal, Dr. Rodriguez said. We call it 1G. Everything on our planet evolved under those conditions. Dr. Vexenth quickly ran calculations on her device. Her organic portions turned pale. Your gravity it's 3 times galactic standard. That's impossible. The pressure alone would crush most council species instantly. Really? Dr. Chun looked genuinely surprised. We had no idea other worlds had such gentle conditions. Earth seems quite normal. To us, Ambassador Kim leaned forward. What do you consider dangerous weather? Kethfer was almost afraid to ask, but his duty required him to learn about these beings. On council worlds, we consider any wind over 10 kilometers per hour to be hazardous. Temperature changes of more than 5 degrees in a day require emergency protocols. The humans looked at each other and several of them began making soft sounds. Kethfer realized with horror that they were laughing. I'm sorry, Dr. Chun said, trying to control her amusement. We don't mean to be rude. It's just that on Earth, we consider 10 kilometers per hour to be a gentle breeze. Our weather systems regularly produce winds over 100 kilometers per hour. Some storms have winds over 300 kilometers per hour. 300? Dr. Vexenth sounded faint. That would strip the atmosphere from most planets? And temperature changes? Kethfer asked, dreading the answer. Well, it depends on location, Dr. Rodriguez said thoughtfully. Some places have temperature swings of 30 or 40 degrees in a single day. Seasonally, many regions see changes of 50 to 80 degrees. Several council members had to sit down. One of the bridge crew, a delicate being from a low-gravity world, actually fainted. "But surely," Kethver said desperately, "your world is geologically stable? No dangerous seismic activity?" General Webb rubbed his chin. "We have earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, landslides, avalanches, tornadoes, hurricanes, blizzards, floods, droughts, and forest fires. Pretty much on a regular basis." "And you call this a garden world?" Dr. Vexenth asked weakly. "We call it home," Dr. Chun said gently. "To us, Earth is a beautiful, life-giving planet. We love it dearly." Kethver tried to process this information. How do you survive such conditions?" "We adapt," Dr. Park said simply. "Humans are very good at adapting. We build shelters, make tools, work together. We've learned to live with our environment rather than fight it." "Have you ever had extinction events?" asked Dr. Vexenth, her scientific curiosity overcoming her shock. "Oh yes," Dr. Rodriguez said cheerfully. "Several major ones. Asteroid impacts, supervolcanic eruptions, ice ages, massive climate changes. Life on Earth has been almost wiped out. Multiple times." "But you survived," Kethver said, stating the obvious. "Not just survived," General Webb said with pride. "We thrived. Each challenge made us stronger and more adaptable. Humans are very hard to kill." Dr. Vexenth was frantically taking notes. "What about your predators? Surely in such a harsh environment you face significant threats from other life forms?" The humans exchanged those looks again. "Well," Dr. Chun said slowly, "humans actually became the dominant predator on our planet. We hunted most of the large, dangerous animals to extinction or near extinction." "You were predators?" Kethver felt his worldview cracking like his crystal body under stress. "Persistence hunters," Dr. Rodriguez explained. "We would chase prey animals until they collapsed from exhaustion. Humans can run for hours without stopping. Most animals can only sprint for short distances. You ran your prey to death?" Dr. Vexenth sounded horrified. "It was very effective," General Webb said. "Humans are excellent endurance runners. We can travel dozens of kilometers in a day on foot." Kethver tried to imagine these beings chasing down animals across vast distances. The image was terrifying. "What about cooperation with other species?" "Well, we domesticated quite a few," Dr. Chun said. "Dogs, cats, horses, cattle. We made them into companions and working partners." "You enslaved other species?" Dr. Vexenth asked. "Not exactly," Dr. Park corrected. "More like mutual partnerships. We fed and protected them, they helped us with work or provided companionship. Many of our animal partners seem quite happy with the arrangement." "Do these animals share your resilience?" Kethver asked. "Some of them," Dr. Rodriguez said. "Dogs can survive in almost any environment humans can. Cats are incredibly adaptable. Horses can run for hours carrying heavy loads." Kethver realized with growing horror that humans had not just survived their death world, they had conquered it. They had turned its most dangerous inhabitants into allies and eliminated the rest. "Perhaps," he said weakly, "we should take a break to process this information." "Of course," Dr. Chun said kindly. "We understand this might be different from what you expected. Should we prepare some information about Earth's ecosystems for your review?" That would be helpful," Kethver managed to say, as the humans left the conference room, chatting cheerfully among themselves about sharing their homeworld with their new alien friends. Kethver sat in stunned silence. They had not discovered a peaceful garden world species ready for gentle integration into galactic society. They had found survivors from a planet that would serve as a maximum security prison for most council species, and these survivors wanted to be friends. After an hour of private discussion, the council team returned to the conference room. Kethver had tried to calm himself, but his crystal structure still showed stress fractures. Perhaps the humans had exaggerated their world's conditions. Perhaps there was a misunderstanding. "Welcome back," Dr. Chun said warmly. "Have you had time to review the Earth data we provided?" "Yes," Cuthbert said carefully. Some of the information seems unusual. We were hoping you might demonstrate some human capabilities to help us understand better. Of course, General, Webb said. What would you like to see? Dr. Vexenth spoke up nervously. We're curious about human physical abilities. How do you survive in such high gravity? Do you require special equipment or assistance? The humans looked puzzled. No special equipment, Dr. Rodriguez said. We just walk around normally. Would you like to see our exercise facility? Before anyone could object, Dr. Chun was leading them through the corridors of the human space station. Cuthbert noticed the humans moved with easy confidence in what felt like crushing gravity to him. Even with his species' natural crystal strength, he felt heavy and slow. Here we are, Dr. Chun said, opening a door. This is where our crew stays, in shape during long missions. The room beyond was filled with strange metal devices. Several humans were inside, moving in ways that made the council team stop and stare. One human female was lifting a metal bar with large round weights attached to both ends. She raised it above her head repeatedly. How much weight is she lifting? Dr. Vexenth asked in a whisper. About 60 kilograms, Dr. Chun said casually. Not too heavy, she's just doing a warm-up. Dr. Vexenth quickly calculated. That's twice her body weight. How is she not being crushed? Humans are pretty strong, Dr. Rodriguez said with pride. We had to be living on Earth. Evolution made sure we could handle heavy loads. Another human was running on a moving belt device. His feet hit the belt over and over in a steady rhythm. Sweat covered his skin, but he showed no signs of stopping. How long has he been running? Asked Cuthbert. General Webb checked a timer on the wall. About 40 minutes. He's planning to run for 2 hours today. 2 hours? Dr. Vexenth sounded faint. At that speed? This is actually a slow training run, Dr. Chun explained. He's running about 12 kilometers per hour. Some humans can run much faster for shorter distances. A third human caught their attention. He was hitting a large bag that hung from the ceiling. Each punch made a loud sound that echoed through the room. The bag swung back and forth from the impacts. What is he doing? Cuthbert asked, though he was afraid of the answer. Boxing practice, General Webb said. It's good exercise and helps with self-defense skills. The human threw a particularly hard punch. The force measurement device next to the bag displayed numbers that made Dr. Vexenth step backward. That impact would shatter my exoskeleton, she whispered. Really? The boxing. Human had heard her comment. He walked over, breathing hard but smiling. Sorry, I didn't mean to worry you. I was holding back a lot. Want to see a real punch? No. Several council members said at once. The human laughed. Don't worry, I won't hit anything that might break. Maybe just show you the power measurement. He walked back to the bag and took a fighting stance. His whole body moved as he threw a punch with full force. The sound was like thunder. The bag bent almost in half from the impact. The measurement device sparked and went dark. Oops, the human said cheerfully. I think I broke the machine again. Sorry about that? Dr. Vexenth was staring at her datapad. The last reading before it failed was, this can't be right. No organic being could generate that much force. Humans are tough, Dr. Chun said simply. We had to be. Earth doesn't give you a choice. They watched other humans exercising. One was hanging from a bar and pulling his entire body weight up repeatedly. Another was jumping up onto high platforms over and over. A group was playing a game that involved throwing a heavy ball around while running into each other. Do these activities hurt? Asked a council member with a trembling voice. Sometimes, admitted Dr. Rodriguez. But we have a saying, no pain, no gain. A little discomfort makes you stronger. What do you do when you get injured? Dr. Vexenth asked. General Webb pointed to a human sitting on a bench with ice on his knee. Tom there twisted his knee yesterday during training. He'll probably be back to full activity in a few days. A few days? Dr. Vexenth approached the injured human carefully. May I examine your injury? Sure, Tom said, removing the ice pack. His knee was swollen and had changed color to purple and yellow. Dr. Vexenth scanned the injury with her medical device. This shows severe tissue damage, bone stress fractures, and massive internal bleeding. You should be in critical care. How are you still conscious? Tom looked confused. It's just a twisted knee. Happens all the time in sports. I'll wrap it up and take some pain medicine. Maybe use crutches for a couple days. Pain medicine? Dr. Vexenth asked weakly. Just something to take the edge off, Tom explained. Though honestly, it's not that bad. I once broke 3 ribs in a football game and finished playing. You continued physical activity with broken bones? Kethfer felt his stress fractures spreading. Well, yeah, Tom said. The team needed me. Broken ribs hurt, but they heal. Dr. Ching noticed the council team looked disturbed. Perhaps we should explain human healing abilities. Tom, tell them about the time you cut your hand. Tom held up his left hand, showing a faint line across his palm. I cut myself pretty deep with a knife a few months ago. Needed 12 stitches. But it healed. Up fine. Dr. Vexenth scanned his hand. There's evidence of a wound that severed muscle, tendons, and blood vessels. This should have caused permanent disability. Nah, humans heal pretty well, Tom said. Takes a few weeks for cuts like that. Bones take longer, maybe 6 to 8 weeks depending on the break. You regularly survive injuries that would be fatal to most council species. Dr. Vexenth said, more to herself than to Tom. A new human entered the exercise room. She was small compared to the others, but moved with obvious strength and control. Hey, everyone, she called out. Anyone want to spar? I need practice for the tournament next week. What kind of tournament? Asked Kethfer. Mixed martial arts, the woman said. It's a fighting competition. Lots of fun. You fight each other for entertainment? Dr. Vexenth sounded horrified. Sure, the woman said. There are rules to keep. It's safe, of course. No permanent damage allowed. Just controlled combat to see who's the better fighter. Controlled combat, Kethfer repeated slowly. Want to see a quick demonstration? The woman asked. I can show you some basic moves. Before anyone could object, she had grabbed another human and they began what they called grappling. They moved fast, each trying to force the other to the ground. They twisted and turned, putting pressure on joints and limbs in ways that looked impossible. Finally, one human tapped the other's arm and they immediately stopped and stood up, both breathing hard but smiling. Good match, said the woman. You're getting better at those takedowns. Thanks, the other human replied. Your submission holds are still too fast for me. Dr. Vexenth was frantically taking notes. You were attempting to disable each other's joints and blood flow. The technique could have caused unconsciousness or death. Only if we didn't know when to stop, the woman said. That's why we tap out when we're caught. It's perfectly safe if you know what you're doing. You teach your children to fight? Asked Kethfer. Of course, General Webb said. Self-defense is important. Kids start learning basic fighting skills in school. Even your younglings are trained for combat, Dr. Vexenth whispered. Adding more notes. Dr. Chun noticed the council team looked overwhelmed. Perhaps we should return to the conference room. We can continue discussions in a more comfortable environment. As they walked back through the corridors, Kethfer tried to process what he had seen. Humans regularly performed physical feats that would kill most council species. They survived injuries that would be fatal to others. They healed from wounds that would cause permanent disability. They fought each other for fun. And they considered all of this completely normal. I have one more question, Dr. Vexenth said. As they sat down again, what do humans consider truly dangerous? The humans thought about this seriously. Finally, Dr. Chun answered. Things that can actually kill us quickly, she said. Like falling from great heights, being hit by vehicles, or severe trauma to vital organs. Though even then, humans have survived some pretty amazing accidents. What about environmental dangers? Pressed Dr. Vexenth. Extreme cold or heat, lack of oxygen, radiation, toxic chemicals, General Webb listed. But humans are pretty adaptable. We've learned to survive in deserts, Arctic regions, underwater, even in space with the right equipment. Kethver realized with growing terror that humans had not just survived their death world. They had mastered it so completely that they now considered its deadly conditions to be normal and comfortable. These beings were not peaceful garden world dwellers ready for gentle integration. They were the apex survivors of a planet that would be classified as a galactic-level threat. Back aboard the Serenity's Edge, Ambassador Kethver called an emergency meeting. The council delegation gathered in their private chambers, all looking shaken. Dr. Vexenth spread her data across the table with trembling arms. "We need to discuss what we've learned," Kethver said, his crystal body showing deep stress fractures. "These humans are not what we expected." "They're monsters," whispered Talish, the ship's cultural expert. "Beautiful, friendly monsters who don't even know what they are." Dr. Vexenth activated her holographic displays. "Look at this data. Human bone density is 4 times galactic average. Their muscle tissue is incredibly dense. Their cardiovascular system can pump corrosive oxygen through their bodies at pressures that would burst our organs." "What about their healing abilities?" asked Captain Mordick, the blue-skinned ship commander. "Terrifying," Dr. Vexenth replied. "They can regrow damaged tissue, reconnect severed blood vessels, and heal broken bones. Injuries that would kill any council species in minutes, they treat as minor inconveniences." Kethver studied the biological scans. "How is this possible? How did evolution create such beings?" "Their planet tried to kill them for millions of years," Dr. Vexenth explained. "Everything on Earth is designed to cause death. The gravity crushes bone, the atmosphere corrodes tissue. The weather destroys shelter, the other life forms hunt and kill. And humans survived all of this?" Talish asked. "Not just survived," Dr. Vexenth said grimly. "They conquered it. They became the dominant species by being more dangerous than everything else on their world." Captain Mordick leaned forward. "What exactly makes them so dangerous?" Dr. Vexenth brought up new displays. "Their persistence, predators. They can track prey across vast distances and run for hours without stopping. Their bodies can function with damage that would shut down our systems. They heal from wounds that would be permanently disabling to us. And they work together," added Talish. "Perfect pack hunters. They coordinate attacks, share information, and support wounded members." Kethver felt a chill run through his crystal structure. "Show me their historical data again." Dr. Vexenth activated the human historical records they had been given. This is what they call the 20th century. 2 major global wars involving nearly their entire species. The displays showed images of destruction that made the council members recoil. Cities reduced to rubble, massive explosions, millions of humans in organized combat. "They fought wars involving hundreds of millions of their own kind," Dr. Vexenth continued. "And they didn't use claws or teeth? They created weapons specifically designed to kill other humans." "Weapons?" Captain Mordick asked. "Metal projectiles fired at supersonic speeds. Explosive devices that can destroy buildings. Chemical weapons that poison the air itself." Dr. Vexenth's voice grew quieter with each item. "And then they created something called nuclear weapons." The display showed mushroom clouds rising over destroyed cities. The council team sat in stunned silence. "Those explosions," Kethver said slowly, "could they destroy a council city?" "A single nuclear weapon could eliminate most of our capital. Cities instantly," Dr. Vexenth confirmed. "And humans built thousands of them." "Why?" Talish whispered. "Why would they create such terrible weapons?" "To fight each other," Dr. Vexenth said. "They were prepared to destroy their entire world rather than surrender to enemies." Captain Mordick stood up and began pacing. "How many humans died in these wars?" "Over 100 million in the major conflicts alone," Dr. Vexenth read from her data. "But here's the truly terrifying part. After each war, their population grew larger and their technology advanced faster. War made them stronger." Kethver couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Conflict drives human innovation," Doctor. Vexenth explained. They create new technologies to solve problems or defeat enemies. Then they use those technologies to improve their lives. What about their current military capabilities? Captain Mordick asked with professional interest. Dr. Vexenth hesitated. I'm not sure we want to know. But based on what General Webb casually mentioned, they have weapons that can strike targets anywhere on their planet within hours. They have soldiers trained specifically for combat in hostile environments. Trained how? Talish asked. They practice fighting in simulated combat. They learn to survive in extreme conditions. They study how to defeat enemies using minimal resources. Dr. Vexenth paused. General Webb mentioned something called Special Forces, who train for years to operate alone in enemy territory. Kethver tried to imagine humans trained specifically for warfare operating in council space. The thought made his stress fractures spread further. What about their space capabilities? Captain Mordick asked. Limited but advancing rapidly, Dr. Vexenth said. They've only had space travel for a few decades, but they've already built permanent stations, landed on their moon, and sent probes to other planets in their system. In a few decades? Talish sounded amazed. Most species take centuries to achieve basic space travel. Humans seem to advance very quickly when motivated, Dr. Vexenth observed. And they appear to be highly motivated by the prospect of exploring new worlds. Captain Mordick stopped pacing. New worlds? What do you think they'll do when they discover the galaxy is full of species from gentle garden worlds? The room fell silent as everyone considered this question. They won't mean any harm, Kethver said finally. They seem genuinely peaceful and friendly. But they don't understand how fragile we are, Talish pointed out. To them, we must seem incredibly weak and helpless. Dr. Vexenth brought up more. Data, look at this. When I asked Dr. Chun about dangerous animals on Earth, she mentioned that humans keep many predators as pets and companions. They domesticated their predators? Captain Mordick asked. Something called dogs? Originally wolves, pack hunters like humans themselves. Humans bred them for different purposes. Some for hunting, some for fighting, some for protection. They created specialized predators, Talish said weakly, and cats. Small hunters that kill for pleasure, not just food. Humans consider them cute and lovable. Dr. Vexenth showed images of earth cats. These creatures would be classified as dangerous predators on most council worlds. Kethver studied the images. The cats looked innocent enough, but their eyes showed the focused intelligence of hunters. What else did they tell you about their relationship with other Earth species? He asked. They mentioned horses. Large animals they ride for transportation, and recreation, cattle, which they raise for food. Birds they train to hunt other birds. Dr. Vexenth paused. They've turned almost every species on their planet into either food, workers, or weapons. And now they want to join galactic civilization, Captain Mordick said grimly. As friends, Kethver added. They genuinely seem to want peaceful contact and cooperation. But what happens when they discover our worlds? Talish asked. Our gentle gravity, our calm weather, our abundant resources. To humans, council worlds must seem like paradise. Or easy targets, Captain Mordick said quietly. Doctor. Vexenth activated one final display. There's something else. When I asked about their exploration plans, Dr. Rodriguez mentioned they're already looking at nearby star systems. They want to establish colonies on other worlds. They're planning to spread beyond their death world, Kethver said. And they're doing it faster than any species in council history, Dr. Vexenth confirmed. Most species take centuries to develop interstellar travel. Humans might achieve it in decades. Because they're motivated by their hostile environment, Talish realized. They want to escape their death world. No, Dr. Vexenth corrected. They want to find new challenges. Dr. Chun called space exploration humanity's greatest adventure. They're not fleeing Earth. They're looking for new places to conquer. The council delegation sat in horrified silence. They had discovered a species of apex predators from a death world who considered war and conflict to be normal parts of life. These beings had turned their entire planet into a training ground for survival and were now looking to expand into the galaxy, and they wanted to be friends. What do we tell the Council? Captain Mordick asked finally. Kethver looked at his stress-fractured reflection in the table surface. I honestly don't know. 3 days later, Ambassador Kethver stood before the Grand Assembly of the Galactic Council. Representatives from 412 different worlds filled the vast chamber. His report would determine humanity's future relationship with galactic civilization. Honored representatives, Kethver began, his crystal voice carrying clearly through the chamber. I have completed first contact with the species known as humans from the planet Earth. My findings require immediate attention and a complete revision of our contact protocols. Murmurs of interest rippled through the assembly. New species were always exciting news. Earth is not a garden world, Kethver continued. It is what we would classify as a Class 12 death world, unsuitable for council habitation without extensive life support. The murmurs grew louder. Several representatives looked confused. The gravity is 3 times galactic standard, Kethver explained. The atmosphere contains 21% corrosive oxygen. Weather systems regularly produce destructive storms with winds exceeding 300 kilometers per hour. The planet experiences frequent seismic activity, volcanic eruptions, and climate disasters. Then how did intelligent life develop there? Asked Representative Zixtal from the Peaceful Collective. Life on Earth developed through constant survival pressure, Kethver replied. Every species, including humans, evolved to withstand conditions that would be instantly fatal to most Council citizens. Dr. Vexenth approached the podium with her data displays. Humans are persistence predators with enhanced physical capabilities. Their bone density is 4 times our average. Their muscle tissue can generate forces that would shatter most Council exoskeletons. They can heal from injuries that would cause permanent disability or death to us. The assembly grew quiet as the implications sank in. Are they hostile? Asked Representative Morthak, a large but gentle herbivore from the Harmony Systems. This is the most disturbing aspect, Kethver admitted. They are genuinely peaceful and friendly. They want to join our community and share knowledge. They seem completely unaware of how dangerous they are. Dangerous how? Pressed Representative ZYX single quotes tal. Dr. Vexenth activated a holographic display showing human historical data. They have fought numerous wars involving their entire species. They created weapons capable of destroying their own planet. They have survived multiple extinction events. They consider combat training to be recreational activity, yet they want peace? Representative Morthak sounded confused. They want friendship, Kethver said. But they come from a world where cooperation means survival and conflict drives innovation. Their entire civilization is built around overcoming impossible challenges. What do you recommend? Asked the council speaker, an ancient being whose species had been peaceful for millions of years. Kethver had spent 3 sleepless days considering this question. Standard integration protocols are inadequate. We cannot treat humans as a typical pre-spaceflight species. They require a completely new approach. Quarantine? Suggested Representative Zixtal nervously. Impossible, Dr. Vexenth interjected. They're already developing faster than light travel. Our projections indicate they'll achieve interstellar capability within 50 years, possibly much sooner if they're motivated. What motivates them? Asked the council speaker. Challenge and exploration, Kethver replied. They see the galaxy as humanity's greatest adventure. They want to explore new worlds, meet new species, and test themselves against unknown environments. The assembly erupted in worried conversations. The idea of Deathworld predators spreading through the galaxy terrified most representatives. Order, called the council speaker. Ambassador Kethver, do you believe humans pose a direct threat to council worlds? Kethver considered his words carefully. Not intentionally. But they don't understand how fragile most council species are. What they consider gentle interaction could be harmful or fatal to us. Their idea of challenging terrain is our idea of a death trap. Then we must warn them away from council space, Representative Zixtel declared. With respect, Dr. Vexenth said, that approach would likely fail. Humans respond to warnings by investigating the danger. Telling them to avoid something would probably make them more interested in it. So what do we do? Representative Morthak asked helplessly. Before Kethver could answer, the chamber's communication system activated. "Forgive the interruption," said the council speaker, "but we're receiving a transmission from the human delegation." Dr. Chin's image appeared in the center of the chamber. She looked excited and happy. "Greetings, Galactic Council," she said warmly. "We've been thinking about how humanity can contribute to your wonderful community. We have a proposal we'd like to share." The assembly watched nervously as Dr. Chun continued. "We understand that council worlds are generally peaceful and stable. That's beautiful, but it means you might not have much experience with hostile environments or dangerous situations. Humans are very good at solving problems in difficult conditions." She paused, smiling brightly. "We'd like to offer our services as the Council's emergency response team. When you encounter dangerous worlds, extreme environments, or situations that require survival skills, send humans. We love that kind of challenge." The assembly sat in stunned silence. "We're already planning colonies on worlds that most species would consider uninhabitable," Dr. Chun continued. "High-gravity planets, worlds with dangerous weather, places with hostile wildlife. We could establish bases in regions too dangerous for council species and serve as your representatives there." Representative Zixtal made a choking sound. "We could also help with exploration of unknown systems," Dr. Chun added enthusiastically. "Humans are excellent at adapting to new environments and dealing with unexpected dangers. We could scout new worlds and make them safe for council colonization." Dr. Vexenth was frantically taking notes, her 6 arms moving in a blur. "Finally," Dr. Chun concluded, "we'd like to establish cultural exchange programs. We can teach survival skills, emergency response, and crisis management. Council species could teach us about peaceful cooperation, advanced technology, and galactic history. Everyone benefits." The transmission ended, leaving the assembly in shocked silence. "They want to be our problem solvers," the council speaker said slowly. "They want to colonize the most dangerous worlds in the galaxy," Representative Morthak added. "They want to explore unknown systems full of potential threats," Representative Zixtel whispered. "And they're offering to teach us their survival skills," Dr. Vexenth said, her voice faint with horror. Kethver realized the brilliance of the human proposal. They weren't asking to join council civilization as junior members. They were offering to become the council's interface with everything dangerous in the galaxy. "This could actually work," he said slowly. "Work?" Representative Zixtal sounded hysterical. "They want to spread across the most hostile worlds in known space and drag us into their Deathworld survival training. Think about it," Kethver continued. "For millions of years, the Council has avoided dangerous worlds, hostile systems, and extreme environments. We've missed countless opportunities for expansion and exploration because our species simply can't survive such conditions." "Because those conditions are insane," Representative Morthak pointed out. "To us," Kethver agreed. "But humans consider those conditions to be normal or even pleasant. They could establish council presence in regions we've never been able to access." Dr. Vexenth looked up from her calculations. "The economic potential alone is staggering. Rare minerals, unique ecosystems, strategic locations. Humans could make it all accessible to council trade." "But at what cost?" Representative Zixtel asked. "What happens when they discover something too dangerous even for Deathworlders?" "Then we'll finally know the limits of the galaxy," Kethver said, "and we'll have advance warning about truly extreme threats." The council speaker called for order as debates erupted throughout the chamber. Representatives argued about the risks and benefits of accepting humanity's proposal. "We need to vote," the council speaker announced finally. All in favor of accepting humanity's offer to serve as our crisis response and exploration specialists? The vote was closer than Kethver expected, but it passed. Motion carried, the council speaker declared. Humanity will be granted special status as our emergency response and exploration division. May the universe help us all. As the assembly dispersed, Kethver reflected on what they had done. They hadn't gained a new peaceful member species. They had recruited the galaxy's ultimate survivors to handle everything too dangerous for civilized beings. The universe had just become a much more interesting place, and somewhere in space, Dr. Chen was probably planning humanity's first mission to explore a black hole or colonize a star. Kethver's stress fractures deepened, but for the first time in days he was smiling.